hold on me, won't let go of me.
I mean, honestly, how much do you still use pen and paper? And we don't handwrite anymore because of this marvelous piece of technology. We have access to millions of apps and infinite information through that small piece of technology. But at the same time, my smartphone is also the single biggest source of distraction in my life. And I'm not only speaking of doom scrolling on social media. Whenever I don't know something, or a question pops up in my head, I grab into my pocket and ask ChatGPT or Google for an answer. When we have limitless resources, we lose our resourcefulness. And this is what I feel is happening when a majority of my time is spent on consuming rather than on producing. Blind consumption feels like my soul and time is pulled away from me until I become an empty shell. My attention can be pushed or it can be pulled, and my antidote to this increasingly attention-pulling world is simple: pen and paper. When I write on paper, I have a direct connection between the nebulous world of my thoughts and reality. I don't get distracted by other apps, open tabs, or notification, just me and the page. It's not only a stream of thoughts that is translated into reality by writing them down, but writing is also an active process of thinking. Thinking clearly and deeply is a skill. And writing, to me at least, is the process of reaching clear and deep thoughts. Okay, but what exactly do I journal about to initiate a process of deep and clear thinking? There are multiple layers to thinking. When you think, do you actually think in fully structured sentences with punctuation and everything? Or do you have a more symbolic or visual thinking mixed with other scattered thoughts, desires, fears, and other emotions? To be honest, my head often feels like a mess, and to bring some calmness and clarity, I try to trap my vague mind on paper by writing whatever pops up in my head. I don't care about spelling and nice language, I just want to get it out of my head. I gain so much clarity by spending 5 minutes writing about my worries, fears, and stress, as well as beauty, love, and things I'm grateful for. It took me some time and practice to not always deprioritize journaling for urgent things, especially if I feel stressed or have other high emotions in me. But I found that these 5 minutes are always worthwhile. Also, I often like to form my intentions for the day when I journal in the morning or so. This helps me to prioritize tasks and projects and minimize my tendency to multitask and switch between tasks and activities. So I often spend 5 to 15 minutes to journal about my current state and my intentions, but this active interoceptive awareness often leads to so much more productive and happier days. Time well spent. So I don't view journaling as another activity, but as an investment in mental hygiene. We all love a good story, but often forget that our day-to-day lives are also story-worthy. When you take a few minutes at the end of the day or the next morning to write and document your day, you train yourself to view your day through the lens of a movie or a story. I believe that even a mundane life holds the material for a good story or something worth remembering. It could be a conversation, a moment of presence, or even a particularly challenging experience. Life consists of good and bad experiences, and both are needed to give a story a good balance. Also, if I journal in the evening about my day, even the unpleasant experiences are still story-worthy experiences, and this often takes some of the emotional pressure from them. And there's another very important benefit of documenting your daily story. You will live longer. at least from a subjective perspective. When we get older, time tends to rush by at an increasing speed as every year gets shorter in relation to our age. As a kid, summer holidays could feel endless and packed with so many experiences. But when we get older and are not careful, years could pass by in a blink without much life packed into those years. And we ask ourselves, where did the time go? Today, people do so many things to live longer and extend their life and health span. But that's only one side of the spectrum or of the coin. The other side is, with awareness, noticing and documenting the simple beauty of day-to-day life, you can stretch and dilate every second you live. What is living to 120 years worth if the years pass by like nothing? Isn't pursuing a life of deep attention, appreciation and awareness filled with detailed memories and stories just as important? And that's what writing my daily story is, a practice of distraction-free awareness of the simple things in life. It's also a practice where I can get better at. When I don't know what to write about because I had just a boring day of work without much things happening, it's a sign to pay more attention. There's often more to something than we initially think. Sometimes we just need to look closer or longer. Jennifer L. Roberts, a professor of history of art and architecture at Harvard University, assigns her students the task of observing a single work of art for 3 hours. I love this. This exercise is designed to teach the value of patience and immersive attention, encouraging students to engage deeply with the artwork beyond initial impressions. Roberts emphasizes that this prolonged observation can reveal details and insights that are not immediately apparent, fostering a more profound understanding of the piece. And this analogy applies to viewing my life too. For example, this is the beauty of combining an evening meditation where I invite prolonged stillness of mind with the reflective habit of journaling about my day. Meditation doesn't need to be sitting. Sometimes I go for a walk, run, or stretch to wind down. These activities help me subconsciously consolidate the experiences of the day before I write them down. So having my daily stories written down is so beautiful because I can remember things just by a glance, what was happening a few months back or even years, and I can relive memories much deeper than I would just by pure memory itself. So there's a direct connection of writing things down and the symbols of reawakening some of the memories that were forgotten before. If you're following a practice of any kind, could be movement or fitness practice, you need a logbook. Whether you run, lift weights, do yoga, do breathwork or meditate, have a place where you write down when and what you practice. Not only will this help you to stay motivated, but it will help you to get better. Having a logbook is almost like having a private coach. When you look back at your week, for example, it enables you to see patterns and progressions, which is very useful for adapting your program or retaining information about the class you took. For example, I recently started with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and I was totally overwhelmed by being a beginner again. There are so many new techniques and points to remember, and I'm constantly getting submitted and choked out while sparring. I needed a place to write down the techniques I learned and the important points I took away from sparring. My old brain can't handle that much information effectively anymore, unless I put them down on paper. I used to hate documenting my practice, and I was often too lazy for it. I trusted the natural training process of just doing it, trusting that I would improve with time. And of course, that's true to a degree. However, your training, especially skill training, will become so much more effective if you have a training logbook. I also like to revisit old logbook entries from older practices if I want to see how I built a specific skill, to either recreate it if I have become a little rusty or apply the programming to a similar skill. Here, for example, I have my old movement practice logbook where I documented old strengths, locomotion, handstand, environmental practice, coordination, object manipulation, and mobility training sessions. This was from a time when I trained very intensively with Ido Portal's coaching team in movement training, often training 2 to 3 hours per day for 6 days. I don't practice many of these skills as intensively anymore as I used to, but I still revisit them from time to time. And the great thing about those entries is that I have videos from the beginning of a 6-week practice cycle and the end of a 6-week training cycle. So I can check the date of my logbook entries and navigate to my video library and check how the exercises should look after having worked on it for 6 weeks. This is really handy. I love pen and paper because I can touch and feel them, and they occupy the space where I live. I mean, it's so easy to get reminded to write when I have my notebooks lying around or in my pockets. They are not just some apps that easily get buried among other more distracting ones on my phone. So let me show what I use. I currently have one bigger bullet journal from Leuchtturm 1917 or 1917. The bullets keep me writing straight lines and help me as a guide when I want to draw lines, tables or graphics. But they are also light enough that they don't disturb me when drawing something. I also like to draw sometimes. It was a habit that calms my mind, and here and there I often have some doodles. I often just go back and look at the drawings and draw new things to calm me down. And that's from a time here where a good friend of mine passed away much too early, and I drew him. And to me, that's a way to view life, to view more details and get aware of things that I wasn't before. And it's always nice to revisit those drawings. And the bullets are really nice, they're not distracting when I draw. I also love the 3 bookmarks. I have one bookmark at the back where I write down my daily stories. Another one is in the front where I have my morning pages, reflections and drawings. And I have a third bookmark that I sometimes use when I need to often find a specific page. So right now, for example, I have this challenge going on, establishing a new routine where I track my progress. So with this third bookmark, I can easily navigate back and view the essential points and track my progress. Boom, easy. I love that. Then I also have this little thing here, or this one. This is my pocket notebook, or these are my pocket notebooks that I carry with me everywhere I go. So if I'm outside for a walk and suddenly an idea hits me, which often happens during a walk, it goes in here. When I finish my BJJ class and I need to document my techniques and lessons I learned before I forget them again, it goes in here. When I want to write down some to-dos, ideas or thoughts during a deep work session, they go in here for later, capturing them before they distract me or are lost and forgotten. It's a more messy counterpart of the bigger journal here. I also use it to brainstorm and mind map video ideas. It's like an open canvas where I don't care about deep reflective thoughts or even finished sentences. I sometimes stop mid-sentence if I realize an idea doesn't make sense and discard it. With the bigger notebook, I care more about the quality of my thoughts and want to finish at least my string of reasoning. So for me, these two journals are a perfect combo. One, I care about aesthetics and quality of thoughts. One, I don't. It's just here to capture. As for my logbook, I use a separate pocket notebook. It's also from Logbook Journal, but there has been different kinds of logbooks during the years, so it doesn't really matter. At the moment, these notes are all over the place. Some are in here, some are in here, some are in here, and even some in the beginning are in here, because I've been experimenting with various forms how I can implement a logbook. I also experimented with digital logbooks, like putting my workouts into Notion or an app called Day One, but it felt like an overkill and I often forget to do it. So I love separate notebooks to write down my workouts and my skill trainings. So in here, for example, currently I have 2 workouts per day that I do. So I write down, for example, a deload session that I had for resistance training. I put in my runs, I put in my skill training like handstands or locomotion. The locomotion exercise, for example, that I did here was a revisit from an older one. Here there were some skills that felt rusty and I wanted to revisit some of these moves. BJJ classes are in here. I document what techniques we practiced, important points, at least for me, that I need to remember. Some very crude drawings. I can understand them, but no one else could. So yeah. Also my morning meditations are in here, how long, and if there were some particular insights, but here it's just the time and how long. It's shaking in the morning. So that's just about things that I did the last week, and I like to revisit them and see, okay, what did I do last week? Could I adapt certain things? And yeah, it also helps me to keep a habit going if I document what I did. So there you have it, my journaling system for a more intentional life. I still have a smartphone, obviously, but I realized that creating a habit of pushing my attention to something like a journal makes me more aware of when something wants to pull it away. I would rather flip through physical pages of documented stories, reflection doodles, failed and successful experiments, and even activity protocols of my own life, then endlessly scroll through illusions of other lives. And yes, I admit, I still watch YouTube, read books and articles, and listen to audiobooks and podcasts on my smartphone. But it's with more intention instead of following the pull of a welcomed distraction. These things really replaced the gaps between moments, the pull of my distraction, and I trained myself to produce rather than consume, produce my own clear thoughts, produce my stories, or produce intention with my day and create more detailed memories, giving me the feeling of a fuller life. I notice my smartphone robs me of these experiences. And speaking of the power of intentional living, watch this video here on how a specific movie can teach you more about mindfulness than any course could. Thanks for watching.